Morning all. Today we're going to be turning my lawn into a vegetable bed. Hello, it's a great day for turning your lawn into somewhere to grow vegetables. So you can see right here I've marked out a space in my garden and I'm going to be showing you how to turn that into a traditional vegetable bed. We'll be stripping the turf and using that turf to improve the fertility of the soil beneath. Before we start looking at the process of how to dig up your lawn, first of all, I wanted to talk to you about the site that I've chosen. You can see I've just marked it out with some sticks. It's a little bit difficult because of the light and shade in these early morning conditions. But the site that I've chosen here is a site which is going to be shaded in the afternoon. Now, you might be aware that because there's less pollution going into the atmosphere, some scientists are predicting that this year is going to be a really hot year for the Earth. The pollution has been reflecting some of the sun's heat back off into space, so we haven't seen as much climate change as we might have done because some of it has been masked by pollution. So assuming that that might be true, and also given the caveat that we don't know what effects that will have in the UK, it might just be that we get more rain, I thought I would choose a site that is shaded in the afternoon, just so that I can minimise on the watering, which is going to be quite excessive really if we have it in the blazing sun all day. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut along the line of my string. So I'm holding the spade slightly at an angle so that I'm cutting in with one corner first. That makes it an awful lot easier. When I've done that across both sides, I shall do some intermediate lines at quite close intervals, because what I'm aiming to do is divide all of the turf between this marked out area into little squares that are exactly the width and the length. Obviously they're square. So once I've cut my turfs out, cut into little squares, it's time to start lifting them. So if you put your spade in and then do a little bit of levering, you'll find you can get the first one out nice and easily. We're going to put that aside because we're going to be using the turf later. So the second one and all subsequent ones are going to be a lot easier than that, because we just have to swing the spade and that cuts off a much thinner turf. You can see I'm doing a little bit of levering as I go, and there it is ready to come out. So I'll see you later. It looks like I've got a little bit of hard work ahead of me. Now the turf has been removed and neatly stacked over here, what we're going to do is we're going to do some single digging. Now there are three traditional ways of digging over a plot of gardening. There's single digging, which is the easiest, double digging, and then there's bastard trenching. So single digging is digging the ground to one spit depth, which is once the depth of the spade. So first of all I'm going to start with a trench, and then I'll turn on the camera again and we'll see where we are. Here we are, we're about halfway through operations, so I just thought I'd stop and explain to you what I'm doing. So first of all, what I did is at one end of the bed I dug a trench 1 spade's width and 1 spade's depth, and I put all of the soil there onto a piece of tarpaulin. That's to keep my lawn clean, because I'm going to be replacing that soil there right back at the other end of the bed when I've finished. And then you dig a new trench, as I'm digging just here. The light's not great at the moment. Woo! There you go, you can just about tell it's a trench. And I am piling all the soil up on top of the places where I've previously dug. I've got a few tips for you when you're digging. So first of all, you thrust with your leg and the rest of your body at the same time, and don't take up too much at a time. You'll see I've only got a really thin sliver here. Digging is energetic work and you don't want to tire yourself out. So you can see I'm breaking up the soil as I put it onto the pile and taking out a little at a time. And once we've got ourselves a nice trench, I'm lifting with my legs and my buttocks, by the way, and not with my back so much, and that's again something that's going to help me be okay tomorrow rather than completely wasted after today. If you've got a lot of worms in your soil, you might want to hit your lumps with the back of the spade rather than chopping them up. After this year, I'll probably run this as a no dig bed, and then I won't have to disturb the worms again. So now we've nearly finished our trench, and then I'm going to clear the trench out to give it a nice smooth base. Okay, that'll do. At this point, if we were double digging, we'd get a garden fork. We'd thrust it into the bottom of the trench to the depth of the fork and loosen up the soil there, adding a bit of manure as we did it. That's what they used to do in the Victorian kitchen gardens. That's what gave them such amazing fertility in the gardens, I mean. So, now I get my turf, and I'm going to put it grass side down in the bottom of the trench. We're carpeting the bottom of the trench in turf, and that will rot away and provide plant food. Having done that, as it happens, I've got some compost. I've been making compost in my garden, so I'm going to pop some of that on top to further enrich the soil. But don't worry if you don't have any, because even plants like radishes send their roots down a whole metre, so they are going to get to the rich turf that you're burying now. Okay, I'm just going to press that down a bit. Fabulous. Now it's time to put my compost on. Surprising how many teaspoons and Lego you find in your compost. I don't know if anyone else has that. Spread it out a bit. There we go. And then we are ready to start on the next trench. So, just for your information, I mentioned bastard trenching earlier in the day, and that was something that they did in Victorian kitchen gardens too. That's where you went down 3 spits, so 3 spade depths, hence the name. That's today's digging done then. And if you look at what we've achieved today, so there's a fair bit done. You can see it's quite a lot higher than the rest of the garden, and the reason for that is there's lots of air spaces in the loose soil that we've now dug. So that will collapse down on itself over the next week or 10 days, particularly if there's any rain. So we've worked hard today. I've earned a beer, don't you?